Understanding your partner. In this video, we will finish providing you with the tools to save your marriage or relationship from unnecessary breakups, especially when the root cause is a lack of mutual understanding. You may have already noticed how much your relationship can change by valuing the differences between men and women and adjusting in a more empathetic way. Now, we will delve into those points that can lead you to have the harmonious and fruitful coexistence you seek. Throughout this video, we will review and expand upon vital concepts about how men and women truly are and how to speak their different languages. We will thoroughly explain how to express disagreements without arguing, so that you understand why so many conflicts arise from not recognizing what each person emotionally requires. Pay attention, because what we will discuss in this third video is the cherry on top of what we will talk about. It is the best of the best, and I will leave nothing out so that you can have the necessary tools to handle any situation with the opposite sex. Section 1. Discovering why men and women have different emotional needs. 1 point. 1. Finding fundamental emotional needs. Sometimes, men and women are unaware that they have different emotional needs. As a result, they tend to give what they themselves would like to receive, assuming that their partner desires the same. Here, frustration arises. The woman believes she is being loving by asking concerned questions or showing constant worry, not knowing that for a man, this can be interpreted as a lack of trust or excessive control. The man, on the other hand, thinks he is showing love by downplaying the woman's problems. It's okay, relax, it's not a big deal, not knowing that she feels invisible or minimized. Thus, both love each other, but in disconnected styles, and end up dissatisfied, feeling that they give more than they receive. To make matters worse, they wonder, if I say I love him or her, why don't I feel reciprocated? The 12 ways of love. There are 12 ways to express love, grouped into 6 main needs for women and 6 main needs for men. The most important thing is that each sex prioritizes certain types of love over others. Recognizing what each person's primary needs are will allow you to give love in the way that the other person truly receives it. When we are unaware of these nuances, it is normal for the partner to not feel valued. For example, a woman who primarily needs care and understanding may feel abandoned if he limits himself to giving solutions, no matter how well-intentioned they may be. A man who needs trust and approval may sink or become defensive if she always wants to help him improve, as he feels it as criticism. The 6 main needs in each sex: men: trust, acceptance, appreciation, admiration, approval, and encouragement. Women: care, understanding, respect, devotion, validation, and reaffirmation, or security. Realizing these differences is the first step to saving your relationship from a possible breakdown due to misunderstanding. Think, how long has your partner been without receiving what they truly need? How these needs manifest in practice. She needs trust. He needs care for her. Feeling loved means that the man shows genuine interest in her well-being. A detail, a loving gesture, an unexpected call are great signs of care. For him, feeling loved means being seen as someone competent and trustworthy. When the woman shows that she believes in his intentions, his desire to protect and care more for her is activated. She needs acceptance, and he needs understanding. When she feels heard without being judged, she experiences that her opinion matters. If he doesn't correct her immediately and instead strives to understand her, the relationship strengthens. When the woman accepts the man as he is, without wanting to change him all the time, he feels comfortable to understand her even more and reciprocate with genuine attention. She requires respect. He needs appreciation. Respect towards her means showing attention to her tastes, desires, and needs. These are those small gestures of, "I take you into account." He thrives when the woman appreciates his efforts and recognizes his achievements, no matter how minor they may seem. Feeling appreciated drives him to do more. She seeks devotion. He craves admiration. Devotion means that, for the man, she is a priority. Not that he abandons everything, but that his partner feels like the most important person in his life. Admiration for the man functions as a fuel for confidence. It motivates him to give his best, knowing that his partner values what he is and does. She needs validation. He requires approval. Validating her feelings means acknowledging them as real, without trying to belittle them or turn them into a problem that needs to be fixed immediately. Approval for the man means seeing that his partner considers that, essentially, he does things with good intentions, even if he makes mistakes. Feeling subtle disapproval, looks, tone of voice, can be very painful for him. She asks for reaffirmation. He needs encouragement. She requires feeling that, time and again, he truly loves her, that it wasn't something she demonstrated once. Constant reminders of affection make her feel secure. He grows when the woman conveys confidence in his potential. That encouragement, that "I know you can do it," motivates him to keep improving himself. Examples of why we don't feel our love is recognized often. Good intentions are not enough because each person gives the type of love that he or she needs, without considering if it is what their partner values. She shows concern and questions, because she would love to be cared for that way. But for him, it can look like constant questioning of his ability. He minimizes the problems. "Don't worry, it's okay." Because in his mind, that's demonstrating support. But for her, it sounds like, "You're ignoring me and don't care about how I feel." It is common that after years of giving and not receiving the right form of love, both feel worn out. Each feels undervalued, when in reality, they just lack understanding of each other's emotional needs. The metaphor of the brilliant armor knight. To illustrate the importance of trusting him, I will tell you the story of the knight in shining armor, who falls in love with a princess. At first, she admires him just as he is, and that makes him feel capable of anything. Over time, she starts to help him too much, telling him how to defeat dragons, what weapon to use, and how to fight. He, feeling that she doesn't trust his talent, loses enthusiasm and stops putting in effort. He ends up seeking someone who does trust him without so many corrections. This story shows how sometimes wanting to improve a man without him asking for help turns into a rejection of his essence. And when a man doesn't feel accepted, he starts to distance himself or emotionally shut down. How men and women dim without noticing. When the woman doesn't know what he needs, she thinks she is making an effort to care for him, but he interprets those actions as control, criticism, or lack of faith in his abilities. If he doesn't feel trust or approval, he adopts a defensive stance, which in turn hurts the woman, reinforcing the vicious cycle of misunderstanding. When the man doesn't know what she needs, he believes that by downplaying her problems, he is showing her tranquility, but she feels alone and abandoned. If she doesn't perceive care or understanding, she sinks into sadness or resentment, which he finds inexplicable. Then, he isolates himself more, and so on. Common communication mistakes from both sides. When both feel ignored, they can fall into behaviors that unintentionally hurt more. She scolds, gives unsolicited advice, and emphasizes his faults, believing that this way she fixes the problem. But he reads it as, "She doesn't trust me. She sees me as incapable." He invalidates her feelings, becomes defensive, corrects every word, or ignores her when she expresses pain. She interprets it as, "He doesn't love me. He doesn't listen to me." By being unaware of these opposing needs, it's easy to fight over trivial matters, when in reality they are complaining, "You don't trust me," or "You don't really feel me by your side." Avoiding unnecessary arguments through respectful communication. Why do we argue? Fights arise not only because of differences, money, schedules, sex, children, etc., but because we don't feel loved when exposing those differences. If he feels criticized and she feels ignored, it's only a matter of time before a fight erupts. Where the real damage occurs, it's not so much the content of the fight, but the way it's spoken. When a man speaks without showing validation or respect towards the woman's feelings, she gets more hurt and retaliates. When a woman corrects or questions with a disapproving tone, he shuts down and stops listening, avoiding fight, flight, falseness, or surrender fight, counterattack, blame, criticize. In the long run, it destroys trust. Flight, emotionally disappear, lock oneself up without dialogue, generates resentment, falseness, pretending everything is fine while inner dissatisfaction grows. Surrender, always giving in to avoid conflicts until losing one's own identity and falling into depression. Each of these mechanisms protects in the short term, but ruins the relationship in the long term. How to express disagreements without arguing. To avoid prolonging fights over details, there are techniques for mutual validation and approval. Here are some guidelines. Eliminate the accusatory interrogative tone. Instead of, "Why were you so late?" say, "It really bothers me that you didn't arrive at the agreed time. I was worried." Validate before explaining. Before giving arguments, acknowledge the other's feelings. "I understand that this upset you." Ask for clarifications with empathy. "Could you tell me how you felt when..." Instead of, "You shouldn't feel that way." If you learn to speak this way, you will see that fights decrease and moments of tension become opportunities for closeness. Practical cases of avoiding fights. I will give you 3 examples so you have a clear idea of what to do and what not to do. Being late. Instead of, "How could you?" it is suggested to express displeasure directly and, on his part, offer an apology and validation. Broken promises. Avoid, "When will you learn?" and replace it with, "I need you to fulfill this. It makes me feel such and such." The caveman silences. Instead of, "Why are you ignoring me?" express, "I understand that you need space, but it hurts me when you distance yourself without letting me know." In each example, it is emphasized that the way we approach disagreement is key to not escalating into aggression. After fostering your desire, where to get more tools? After seeing the importance of emotional needs, how men and women respond differently to misunderstanding, and the mistakes they often make in communication, you can already imagine the transformation that occurs when you master this art. Understanding your partner, whether man or woman, will allow you to avoid silly conflicts, rekindle the flame, and, above all, feel comfortable knowing what to do in moments of tension. Applying these concepts of how men really are, and how women really are, and how to speak different types of languages can literally change the landscape of your coexistence. What you have seen here is very valuable, but it's not all. There are details, specific tactics, and deeper examples that, due to time constraints, we cannot fully cover in this video. But I also don't want to leave you without the necessary skills to resolve these uncomfortable situations that may arise in your daily life. So if you want to delve deeper and truly develop and understand the language of the opposite sex, you can go to the link in the description of this video and gain access to the PDF document. With each additional tool you discover, you will learn how to avoid exhausting arguments and transform them into productive conversations. Make your partner feel loved exactly as they need to feel. Strengthen affection, closeness, and complicity in daily life. I am sure that with this, you can solidify your relationship. Coexistence can be fulfilling and full of rewards if you truly understand the person you love.